At the end of 2022, there were nearly 203,000 licensed realtors in the state of California, and just shy of 1.6 million in the nation. Now, that's not meant to be an accurate statistical reference. I found it quickly online. But it is to state the obvious. Real estate is an industry that people respect and seek out when they wish to sell, buy, or lease a property. I know we have realtors or former realtors right here in our congregation, and they have detailed information of what expertise is required in that profession. As I understand it, a crucial aspect of a realtor's work is to adequately inform and prepare buyers, sellers, lessees, lessors, for whichever transaction is intended. I have a friend who is a realtor in another state, and she recently told me a story. She personally owns a property on a rural road in a highly desirable location. Many buyers from across the nation have expressed an interest in purchasing land exactly on that specific road and have said, if anything ever comes available, let us know immediately. She agreed to do that. Getting information out quickly is vital. Another piece of the puzzle that's just as crucial as being promptly informed is for the buyer to spend time between expressing interest and making an offer in necessary preparation, including researching the area, doing their own financial risk assessment, speaking with a lender, if applicable, to determine the amount for which a lender will qualify them, given their financial situation and current interest rates and so on. So back to the story about my realtor friend. 10 acres of land actually came available on that very road a few weeks ago. And when that happened, she spent an entire evening until late into the night pulling together all the information she could find and emailing it out to everyone who had previously expressed an interest. The response? Only 10 to 15% of those who had expressed an urgent interest months earlier were actually ready to make an offer within hours, including the ability to back that offer up with available funding. That particular property sold within 48 hours. Someone was prepared, and others were not. If something of great value is on the line, the rate of missing out is far greater than the rate of those who have done their homework, are prepared, and they are ready to move forward immediately. Now take a look at our scripture text for the morning. Where did the parting of the ways happen for these young women? There were 10 bridesmaids who were planning on going to a wedding party, and there were commonalities. They most certainly were excited given the fact that they were going to a wedding. Now, it may not make sense to us, but they took oil lamps with them. For them, it was a necessary piece of equipment, maybe like a credit card or a cell phone would be for us. So that's another commonality. Yet another one. They were all together in the location where they expected the party goers to gather. And then all of them experienced the same adrenaline rush and drain as they waited and waited and waited together. And they all became so tired that they all went to sleep. And that's where the similarities end. When the much-awaited person, the groom, arrives, they spring into action. Because some of them had thought ahead, recognizing that a delay was possible, they came prepared and busily topped up the fuel in their lamps. The others panicked, realizing that they were missing something. They scrambled. They asked others in the group to share of their own oil so that they wouldn't miss out. But the prepared group had brought enough oil just for themselves, not double the amount. The ill-prepared group gambled. They went out in search of more fuel at that moment, hoping that they would get back in time. And they didn't. They miscalculated and they missed the opportunity. Their disappointment was enormous. There's a number of critical things that we can learn from these 10 young women. The first and possibly the most evident one is things rarely go as planned. The groom was late, the lamps burned down, some oil ran out. An errand run didn't fit the available time frame. Preparation also did not guarantee a predictable course, but it did act as a shock absorber so that the plans of 5 out of the 10 women were not derailed. A universal experience in life, in group dynamics, or in creating a movement, pursuing goals, or a vision is this: one always encounters the unexpected, the inconvenient, the need to adapt and adjust. One of the many summaries of this story could be: expect delays, monkey wrenches, unexpected turns of events, prepare anyway. Don't assume that somebody's going to come in last minute and bail you out. It's on you. As the young women who were ill-prepared discovered, it's possible to be surrounded by the right people at the right time and still miss out. So let's consider some of the dimensions of this parable. Waiting is a given. Variables will include things like distractions, being caught off guard, and the sobering lesson that preparation offers no inoculation against the danger of being pulled off course. Staying focused after preparation is always an intentional decision, which we face over and over again. In this parable that Jesus told, the distraction is weariness. They got tired. The uncertainty of arrival time creates a sense of being caught off guard. And at any point, the 5 young women who were prepared could have allowed themselves to be derailed. So as one bobs up and down in the waves of life, these waves that shift and churn, there will be delays. We will become weary. Distractions will inevitably come to turn us aside, even if just for a moment. Preparation is key. A realtor worth their salt will tell you this, but how we define preparation may not stand up in a hot real estate market. What each of the 10 young women considered being prepared differed one from the other. Having the appearance of being prepared is not the same as being able to navigate unpleasant interruptions and come out the other side ready to stay the course. Some people will threaten to sidetrack you, intentionally or unintentionally. You'll experience this even amongst friends or people with whom you have commonalities. Here, it comes in the form of a demand. Give us some of your oil because our lamps have gone out. You give us because we failed to calculate. You give us because our panic now drives your actions. Listen to the response to this demand. No. There are occasions when a well-timed no is necessary. When someone demands something of you that depletes you to the point where you would be unable to fulfill your mission, thereby endangering both your and the other party's well-being, is such a time. Simply no. Stay the course. Ironically, sharing oil with someone who doesn't have enough seems like an altruistic gesture. Isn't generosity a virtue? From this story, it becomes evident that everything has a context. And the question of what's at stake is universal and crucial. When less weighty matters are in play, then our yes and our no may not be as consequential. But in this case, it was of utmost importance. Some interpretations of this text consider the main point to be about entry into heaven. However, it seems even much more broad than that. At the end of the parable, we learn that this story is about preparation. It is a warning about being shut out, missing out, being excluded because of one's own decisions. Some doors simply don't open twice. Consider what's at stake. Generosity is a tremendous character trait, one which can be learned, one which blesses the recipient and the giver, all the more remarkable to learn that there are some things that just can't be shared. When sharing means no one has enough. If someone has put in the time, the hard work, the discipline to work towards something like a goal or an education or a profession or one's own personal growth and development, think Simone Biles. Sharing would mean compromising. And compromise isn't always a good option. So from all of this, what are some practical and meaningful takeaways? I'll offer them in the form of a few questions. If something of great value is on the line, what do you need to do to be prepared? With whom do you need to speak? In the story I told at the outset, it was a realtor. Would you benefit from seeking the advice of a trained professional? For example, a therapist, a spiritual director, a financial planner, a life coach? Consider what's at stake right now. If your life, your relationships, your sense of spiritual well-being needs something, consider. Where is the responsibility for preparation yours and no one else's? It may be that taking personal responsibility for preparation and having the wisdom to know where to say a firm no will bring you and others further down the road of the path that you take. And when the no is spoken to you, to me, we can be grateful for clarity. Take inventory. We can regroup, and then we move forward. When we see someone act quickly, do we assume it's an impulsive move? Or do we entertain the possibility that this individual or this entity is prepared, has counted the cost, has done their research, and is ready at a moment's notice? As I mentioned at the outset, only 10 to 15% of those who had expressed an interest in a particular piece of property were then actually ready to make an offer within hours. Are you able to recognize when something of great value is before you and what the cost of missing out would really be? Those who will be part of the 85 to 90% are the ones who talk about something but don't do anything to prepare. The opposite of that is doing research, weighing options, making calculated assessments, taking a personal inventory, seeking out conversations with leaders in a field, and in our case, a great deal of prayer. This constitutes intentionality. Doing nothing guarantees no movement toward a hoped-for goal. Where may you not even question a belief, a position, or a stance, like sharing and generosity is in this parable? We may be surprised to find that a virtue can actually cripple us when accepted indiscriminately. What no longer serves us or the broader community? Where are you at personally? Is it time to retool? To do a comprehensive reassessment and make a plan? You may need to cut something out of your schedule to make room for whatever it is that will move you forward in your mission. Where are we at as a congregation? If we want a robust community ministry that meets real needs, are we prepared and can we act quickly? Are we prepared, or do we still have to find someone who will sell us oil? Again, using the analogy of the parable. We can have seminal moments frequently. Preparation is never off-season, nor is it poorly placed. It's like playing scales, many scales, before launching into a full-blown piano concerto. It's like building strength and increasing distance and duration, before attempting to walk the Camino de Santiago. But never let preparation keep you from action. All preparation is partial because we never stop changing. This is a moment in which we need divine guidance and direction, one of many moments. A time in which we need discernment, a time calling for intentional preparation. Yours may look different from mine as we are individuals, but we are on a journey together. May we be alert, prepared, and willing to take courageous steps. Amen.